put the lights on.
Yeah, it's great.
So he's like,
And he's got-
and he's like,
yeah,
put
so
the
good.
lights on. And we're like, what? And you could see, I looked down at Chris Novoselic, because about 6'9". He's going like that, sliding down the chair onto the floor. He's just sliding down. And
Embarrassed?
Dave's like that, and Guts like that.
Welcome. We are Neil,
Luke and Dave.
340-somethings, reminiscing on the runners and riders of 90s guitar music.
We look at the bands who soundtracked our youth on both sides of the pond and interview some of our heroes from the bands that defined a generation.
You'll hear about the good, the bad and the ugly of 90s guitar music.
This podcast is Stupid and Contagious. Episode 127 of the Stupid and Contagious podcast. This week we're talking to Andy from Eugenius and Derek from Boyfriend about their bands and also like being on the pulse of two of the most important sort of events in the 90s music, like the rise of Nirvana and the rise of Oasis.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's an interesting
Were they
interview,
never
right?
in
It's a good
the
one.
band?
You what?
Were they never in the
No,
same
not
band?
as far as I know.
Yeah.
Not as far as I know.
But yeah, no, it's a really good one. So that's coming up a little bit later. But before we do that, Dave, what's been going on? How's your sports injury?
What? What sports
He hasn't got
injury?
a sports
Sports
injury. So what's your excuse for not showering for days on end? That's what I want to know.
Well,
It's
before
gross.
Christmas, I was like exercising daily and then showering
Yeah,
after
the
each
big
exercise.
the big skiing
Yeah.
build up.
And
Yeah.
I've just been a lazy bastard, not exercising, but that's also thrown my showering out.
Right. Right.
So I'm just turning into a disgusting middle-aged man who never
So
showers.
because
It's
you
not
hadn't
diffi-
exercised, there's no need to shower?
It's not no need. It's just I haven't, I've been able to skip a day and no one cares.
When was the last time you had a shower?
I bet Victoria
days
cares,
ago?
you stinky bastard.
Actually, it was Saturday morning.
And we're recording this Monday midday, by the way, listeners. That's a few days, man.
Bit gross, I know.
It is a bit gross. Have you been wet wiping in important areas? No.
Must stink down there.
Oh, mate.
You got stink on down there.
Thing is, my wife, her sense of smell doesn't really work.
That's
probably why we
go.
got
problem.
together in the first place, probably.
Yeah. That's why you stayed together, definitely.
Well, there you go. That's fine then, isn't it? You
Yeah.
smelly bastard.
Yeah.
Anything else apart from your smell?
I saw a Marty Supreme film. Have you seen that?
Oh, is
Pretty
it good?
I liked it. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say you saw Marty Pello then from... That's a sort of...
I know
geeky
you do
gag
like
to him.
Marty Pello, don't you?
I don't like Marty Pello.
I hate
You
Marty
do. We've
Pello.
had this conversation. You love Pello.
Oh no, you always accuse me of that, and I'm not someone that shies away from who I like.
No, you're
But
not.
it's just false.
No.
Do you think he's got the best ponytail in pop?
What about the status quo bloke?
He cut his off, didn't he?
That's
He
a
cut
good
his
one
off.
in rock. Oh, speaking
Yeah,
of that, man,
Hello.
have you watched that Depeche Mode concert film on Netflix?
I watched a bit of it. Yeah, I watched a bit of it. I haven't watched
Oh
all
man,
of
I
it
had to
yet.
turn it off after 10 minutes. It was so shit. Speaking of bad ponytails, he had that tiny little knob of a ponytail, these ridiculous
used to have
fucking
one of
goth
those.
sleeves. And he spent the whole time doing this Jesus pose, and the songs were so fucking shit. I lasted 10 minutes. I know this is the worst thing I've heard in my entire
It's not,
life.
to be fair, it's not the best.
What have they become?
Well, they're just old, aren't they? I don't
no
mind
excuse.
some of that. Well, there's only two of them left now as well.
And they look
Right.
ridiculous. Oh man, that was so shit. So
They've
disappointing.
definitely aged. They've definitely aged.
It's
yeah.
okay to age, but you don't have to prance around like a prick.
No, that's part. He's always been like flamboyant on stage, hasn't he? That's just part of Dave Gahan's thing.
Yeah, he had a little knobby ponytail. Wasn't
You're a
good.
knobby ponytail.
Pony boy.
What else, Luke? What have you been up to?
I've got nothing to report, I'm afraid. Listening to music, reading books. That's it, man. That's it. Life goes
That's
on.
what you ever do. That's what you
I
ever
know.
do. Read books and listen to music.
That's what I have. There you go.
Yeah, live a
That's it.
little.
I did go out day drinking on Thursday, and
Oh, fucking hell, mate.
I had a few too many.
A few left.
And the rest.
That's too
I
many.
wasn't in a good way. Yeah, it's great. It's great, but I was.
Did you have to be
a bit of a mess.
helped to walk?
No. But the last part of the journey, I had to cycle home uphill. I don't really remember it.
Do any shots?
No. Just didn't eat that much. Just drank a lot from midday onwards.
Fucking don't need food, do you? Just beer.
Well, no, you do. It soaks it up
say.
you don't drink.
If
No,
I did, that's what I'd say.
eating's cheating is a stupid way to do it. Isn't it? It's not good. But I mean, it was good
sounds
fun.
like
though,
it's fun, though.
Yeah.
Is it
yeah,
quite?
it's good laugh.
They're usually spontaneous things, aren't they? The old day drinking.
Didn't plan to drink
Usually
that
best
much.
ones.
Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you struggle to get the key in the door when you got home?
I don't remember, to be honest.
They probably don't
I
have
don't
keys
remember.
in Japan. They just look at.
Nah,
Don't
they just
worry.
tell it
They
to open.
just
They
slide them open. They just made of
scan their
paper.
knobs. Just scan the knob on the way in.
Some houses, some places have got a knob scan. Other ones, they're just paper walls.
All right. So, shall we just get into this week's? No one
Hang
wants to
on
know
a
what I've
minute.
been doing, do they?
What have you been doing there in Lanzarote?
I've just been
Must have done
itching,
something.
really, because I got fuck. My eczema's flared up. I've just been itching a lot. That's
People
about
don't want to
it.
hear that.
Well, if you asked.
They didn't want to hear about my stink either.
Oh, that's true.
Dave
No, they
stinks.
do.
I
These
got
are like
eczema.
middle-aged people's problems. They do want to hear it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
So I've been itching a lot. I've done a lot of
Oh.
walking and stuff. The weather's
Hang on,
still
I've got
quite
to
nice
drop
out
off
here.
a sec. My son's calling.
Go on then.
Hello.
Sorry
All
about
good?
that.
It's
I
all right.
don't know. He's going to phone Victoria. Hopefully he's all right.
Oh,
Has he
But,
been
you know,
arrested?
hope not.
it's probably been arrested.
He's been arrested.
Your
Don't
son's
jump to
been arrested.
conclusions.
He's been arrested for drugs.
He's had a drug bust at the uni halls. been-
Yeah.
Don't, you're getting me worried.
They found his stash.
They found it, man.
Can't
He's
believe
been
he's
dealing.
been arrested.
He's been dealing out of the university halls.
So itching. It's still sunny out here, so I'm not looking forward to getting back to the cold of England. But
There you go.
all right. So let's get into this week's episode, shall we? Because it's quite a lot to trawl through, isn't there? So
I guess there is, yeah. Yeah.
let's do it. Right, so if you are watching this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We've got a lot of new followers from last week's episode, which is nice.
Oh, brilliant.
So don't go anywhere.
Welcome in. Welcome aboard. Stay with us, guys. I call them
Yeah.
guys because they might be American.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So they probably won't like us because we're just annoying Brits, but
Just
they
call
might
them guys and they'll like you. That's what they like.
okay, guys. Yeah, guys. So, yeah, subscribe to the channel, guys, if you haven't already. And if you're listening, then just rate, review, and share it with your friends. Share it with your, what do they call friends in America?
Buddies. Share it with your buddies.
Share it with your buddies so that they can find the podcast. There's loads of... You can sponsor our podcast, Stupid and Contagious Podcast at gmail.com. If you want to sponsor an episode, if you're a band, you want to promote your music, Luke will do a review. If you're a merch seller, record label, anything like that, give us a shout, email us, and we'll go from there. We've got some merch for sale, which Dave is going to model for you now. Dave, take your
Take your clothes
come
off,
on,
mate.
just skip
take
with it.
your
I'm
clothes off.
undressing.
No, take it off. Take it
will.
all off.
There
Come
we
on,
go.
take it all. Hey, come on.
Neil, you should put
Stinky.
some put full Monty music underneath.
Here we go. There he
There we
is.
go.
Can't
Generic
see it. There we
indie bloke. There we
Bloke,
go.
there he is. The generic
Looking
indie.
good, man.
You can put your clothes back on now if you want.
I've had it on since Saturday, day and night.
Fucking hell. Stinky generic
Have you
t-shirt.
slept in it? Have you slept in it as well?
Yes.
That's so weird.
What do you sleep in?
It's-
Do you
that's
sleep in a
that's not an
t-shirt?
appropriate question. Yeah, but I changed it.
You can-
I changed the t-shirt.
So you can buy one of
Have a
those. Not
night
that
shirt.
one. Not that
do
t-shirt,
normally.
because it stinks. But you haven't
Just
got a
got
mug
stuck
there
in
as
a
well,
rug.
have you, Dave?
After this
Nah.
recording, I want you to immediately go and take a shower in one of your
I
many
will.
bathrooms.
Oh, right.
You've got this. You can't see. You haven't got enough.
You've got 3
bathroom.
shower options.
Exactly.
Use
You
one.
should have a shower in each one.
So you can get T-shirts at our shop and mugs. Go and get yourself one or both. If you get both, you get like a little deal. So go and do that. Help us out. Support the podcast. Thank you very much. All right. So, Luke, you're going to introduce this week's
Yeah, I will.
guest. You got a
I
little
will
thing.
indeed.
I haven't got a Wikipedia. Well, I could get a Wikipedia up, but I'd have to do it for each band and all that stuff.
It's fine. All right.
Yeah.
Before we start, thanks to Alan Clark, who featured on the Best of 2025 episode, for setting up this interview
Okay,
for us.
thanks,
He
Alan.
introduced us and set the whole thing up, basically. He did everything. So thanks for that, Alan. Appreciate it. Okay, so
Nice one,
Andy, first of all, musician, writer. And yeah, as you'll hear in the interview, he was the drummer for Captain America for a short period of time. So Captain America, I'm sure most of our listeners will know, formed out of the ashes of the Vaselines by Eugene Kelly, who was also in former guest BMX Bandits with Douglas, and other Vaselines member James Seenan. I can't work out if Frances from the Vaselines is Derek's sister. Did he say that at one point?
No.
Or did I imagine it?
Sure. You probably imagined it.
Have they
Well,
got the same
get involved in
surname?
the comments if you know the
They've
answer.
got the same surname. And for some reason, I thought
I mean, you
she
probably are
was-
right.
famously, Frances Bean Cobain is named after her. Frances.
That's right,
From the
yeah.
Vaselines. So again, here an interview, but so Brendan O'Hare from Teenage Fan Club also was a member of Mogwai for a short period as well. He was the temporary drummer for Captain America, and he didn't turn up for a gig, and basically Andy got called in and joined the band. And as you'll hear, kind of reluctantly at first, kind of joined the band. Got thrown in, and you'll hear all about it. So I won't ruin the interview. And it basically ended up touring the UK with Nirvana for the second half of 1991 tour. So this is basically when Smells Like Teen Spirit was released, when Nevermind came out, and which is more slow burning than people remember, their kind of popularity. So they were basically building and building and building over that 6 months period. And Captain America and also Shonen Knife, the Japanese band, were supporting them on that tour in the UK.
I've been trying to get them on. I need to get them
Oh,
on.
that would be great, man. That'd be great. And Andy wrote, as he tells about it in the interview, he basically kept a pretty detailed diary when he was on the whole tour, and he wrote a book about it, which I've read now. I've subsequently read since the interview, Nirvana, a tour diary, and really, really good. It is highly recommended. There you go. That's Andy's book. So Captain America got in a bit of trouble with Marvel, as you'd imagine, because they called themselves Captain America. So
it's not as if they're going to get mixed up, is it?
That's true. That's
They're
true.
different things.
Yeah. But as Captain America, they released a few things. So Captain America EP, which you can see behind me, their first release. They released a split 7-inch with former guests Midway Steel as well. And they also released another single, Flame On, in 1992, which again got them in trouble because they used the C and A logo.
Not very good with their copyright research, are they?
No, and why C and A, man? It's not. It's
Again, different things.
Does that still exist?
Weird,
Does C and A still exist in
I think
over
it's
there?
shut down.
Not
now.
in Britain.
It's shut down.
Okay. So they changed their name to Eugenius after that. First album, Umalama, came out in 1992. Great record.
It's
Andy
amazing.
plays
Dave,
on a few of the tracks on it.
Have you heard it, Dave? I think you'd like it if you haven't listened yet.
Well, I've been listening to like a lot in a playlist, so I don't know which was on what album. But yeah, I like the sound a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought you'd like them. Yeah. No,
They're kind of
great album.
I think they're a good missing link between kind of those kind of more indie popish Scottish bands like the Vaselines and the kind of the Pixies and Nirvana. They've got that heavier kind of grungy sound to them, but still that Scottish pop sensibility, right?
Yeah.
Really, really good,
that's
man.
a good
really good.
description. Yeah, it's definitely worth a listen if you haven't haven't already.
They did release a second album, Mary Queen of Scots, in 1994, which I've never heard, to be honest. So I don't know if that's good or not. But by that time, basically, Andy had been asked to leave the band and did a few things. And basically became a writer. He's written many, many books on football. Scottish football, European football, all kinds of football. And as far as I know, 3 books on music. So Nirvana, the tour diary book. He's written a book about Oasis, Definitely Maybe, which again, I've now read. It's a good one, Andy. Again, if you're watching, well done. Really good. And he's written a book which I haven't yet got, which looks great, called Labelled with Love, A History of the World in Your Record Collection. So it just goes by record labels and talks about their impact on music.
I think that
mate. 100%.
You should have written that.
Yeah. But again, I still can. It would be a completely different book. No, because I would choose different labels, right? There's so many out there, right?
Yeah, but the idea's been done now.
I'm going to write a rival book.
Right, okay.
All right. The game's on, Andy.
Do it.
And so he's written for comedy writing and all kinds of things. Okay, and today's other guest is Derek McKee. Yeah, he was in a band called Boyfriend, and as you'll say, they were headlining the night that
Why
Oasis
haven't I
was
listened to
signed
them
at King
before?
Tut's.
Why didn't you tell me about them?
But I didn't know about them. I didn't know. New to me.
Brilliant. Dave, have you had to listen to them?
No, I guess they're on Spotify. I couldn't find them.
Yeah, have a listen, man. I think you'll like them too. They're great. I really like them, yeah.
Thought you would.
Thought you would. Never listened before, but I'm glad I found them right on my street. I've got here, they sort of sound a bit like Teenage Fan Club mixed with like the Lemonheads.
Okay. Derek will like that. Yeah, sure. Definitely Teenage Fan Club. There's 100%. But they had a couple of albums. So first album, Hairy Banjo. I don't know about that album title. Came out in 1993.
I had listened. That's what I was listening to, Hairy Banjo.
I don't even like saying it. I don't like that. The album had just come out when they played that King Tut's gig, which is why they were headlining, basically. Usually, 18-Wheeler were also on the bill. 18-Wheeler were a bigger band, but because they had this album out, they were given.
Well, I mean, I'm not giving away too much, but I was like you. I always assumed that they'd headline that gig. I think that was always the story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Clearly not.
Clearly, as you'll hear. And they had a second album called Rubber Ear as well, also in 1993. Came out on August Records, which is an offshoot of Creation. They also released like Shonen Knife as well, that August Records. And basically, they kind of dissolved, as he talks about. They evolved into a band called the Epicureans. Since then, Derek has played in loads of bands, Red Life District, Dead Agenda, and also currently plays in a band called Broken by Rock with our friend Alan, who set the interview up. And as he also talks about, I'm pretty sure he's also a nurse as well, a full-time nurse. So there you go. That's Boyfriend and Captain America.
All right. Let's have a listen to the interview and then we'll come back off and have a chat about it. Here's Andy and Derek. Enjoy.
Okay. Derek and Andy, thanks so much for coming on, both of you. Where are you zooming in from, respectively?
I stay just outside Motherwell in Scotland.
I'm in Blair Hill in Cope Ridge, which is about 9 miles east of Glasgow. So it's only about 9 minutes to the train if you get a really good one.
Okay, great. How long have you been mates for?
It's about 1990, maybe.
Early 90s, yeah.
Wow. Do you remember when you first met?
It would probably through Big Ross and it's the pub, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the pub. So we used to go to a pub in Airdrie called the Staging Post, and on a Sunday night after the Staging Post, we used to go down to Garfield's, and that was a kind of indie night. So we were kind of moving in the same circles, and we kind of met through that kind of avenue.
Okay.
I think also that whenever you're from like a place like Airdrie, you kind of naturally, this will sound a bit pretentious, but you naturally gravitate towards people that are in bands anyway. You know, you kind of you feel that you're a kindred spirit, and you're bitching at everybody else, and just there's a kind of you've always got a wee bond with people who. Because all the people like Gordon Keane as well from the BMX Bandits that I got in America, I knew Gordon and I used to sign on the same day as him or something. And we used to go and meet, have a coffee. But you gravitate towards people. I think it's a natural thing to do if you're in, because everybody's got a moan and a complaint, and or somebody's getting a big break, you know, and you're like, what?
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I wonder if that is true these days, right? I mean, if you see someone with, the right trainers or whatever back then they would be your mate. You know what I mean? I wonder if that still happens nowadays. Now there's less kind of subcultures and tribes and stuff. I wonder.
I don't think so. Nowadays, I think. I mean, I've got two sons, and 1 minute they're listening to Black Sabbath, the next minute they're listening to classical stuff. There doesn't seem to be that kind of degree of I'm a punk, I'm a mod. I can't talk to you. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I think the young team are quite sus. Some of them are really on it. Sometimes you actually feel as if they're maybe, I mean, not older than Derek's kids. I'm talking about people who are maybe 17, 18, 19, that sort of classic time, and you realise you've got something. I think a lot of them are a wee bit maybe too worked into the concept rather than just getting out and playing and enjoying themselves as well. Because if you're good, it'll come through. It doesn't matter. I was talking to somebody in the pub recently, my local pub in the Georgian in the corner, and they were saying, they were having a meeting with other parents out the band, and I was like, "What? You just let your kids go on it? Do you know what I mean? You don't want your mum and dad hanging about the gigs every night. You just, imagine? Can you imagine? Imagine if it was us. You get arrested." Anyway, I know, but it's just I think, but it's good that people always sort of are quite down on it all with the young team, and I think they're brilliant. I think they're really into it, and I mean, I actually think there's a gap now. The people who are maybe hitting 17, 18, 19, 20 now, I think I think they've got a better chance of doing something. The ones, I think maybe lockdown had a lot to do with it. I think a lot of times that social interaction was gone and getting out, and I think that'll come back to. I've just saw that album there behind you. I was just thinking about like that time. A lot of the kids, if you work anywhere, you go and meet people. A lot of the kids at that age during lockdown, I think they're struggling. I think it's quite an issue, unless you had sort of a lot of upbeat and positivity. But if you were at a certain age where you should have been out, I think a lot of times, you can tell they don't like answer the phone and all that. They're just kind of a really. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm not answering that. What's that?
Yeah.
It was my son. It was my son the other night. The night was it? Friday night. He went to his first gig, so he's 15, and he went to his first gig, which was local, and he says, "Oh, I've got you a ticket, Dad." And I said, "What? You want me to go?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Anybody else's dad's going?" He said, "No." I said, "Right, I'll just drop you off there. I'm not coming."
Oh, that's sweet though. That's really sweet. That's great.
I suppose it was, but I've just going back to what Andy said. It was like, when I was that age, the last person I wanted at any of my gigs was like my dad.
Yeah,
you were mortified if I remember I was playing a gig in Cumbernauld. This big thing. It was for Band Aid. Everybody thought they were like Bob Geldof and bands and all that. And we were playing this huge show. And I looked up and there must have been about 600 people there, right? And it was this big, massive hall in Cumbernauld. And I could see my mum, my sister, and they're like looking at me. I was like, God's sake, you know what I mean? You could have crushed walnuts at my backside. I was so embarrassed. I was like, man, talk about a full clench on. Anyway,
let's go back. Let's go back to that time then. So what bands were you listening to? What gigs were you going to? Where were you hanging out in the early 90s?
You go first, Andy.
I would say that the most important band for me at that point were Killing Joke. I saw Killing Joke. It was a bit of like an epiphany. It changed my life because suddenly, I mean, you go to see bands at the bars all the time. Remember me and Mark Leslie and I think Bryson and Carson up with Fear Action were there, and we were at this gig, and Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry were the support band, and they were the loudest support band I've ever heard. It was just, and then Killing Joke come on, it was all the smoke and all that, the Killing Joke stuff, like that peak Killing Joke. And I just could believe how amazing they were. Boom. wow, just this power and all that, the guitar, the drums. Killing Joke for me was quite an important one. I remember seeing the loads of sort of local bands. There was a lot of bands that I kind of grew up with that were making sort of like, you think back to Teenage Fan Club as well. Some of Teenage Fan Club's early gigs. I remember seeing them in Edinburgh in 1991 and thinking, well, I was older then. I was in my mid-20s, early mid-20s then. I was like, you need to raise your game. They're all really good, and but that connection. There was a thing where you felt it, you felt it all buzzing in. Aye, so I would say at that time, but we were all, Derek was the same. We were all into sort of 60s music as well. We knew our stuff. So the bands we were all into that you knew, oh, that's Big Star. You loved Big Star. Everybody knew Big Star. And it was the Beatles, but it was the Rolling Stones, but it was all the early Rolling Stones, sort of blues sounding records, their first albums. So it was all stuff like that. I was lucky. I was the youngest of a big family, and I grew up listening to Rush, that. And also listening to you be listening to Mudhoney and all that. My big brother was into classical music, and it was just mental. You'd just be into just a real way stuff. But Elvis Presley, I remember getting a record, Elvis Presley, and I remember hearing Elvis, and music was a bit of story, and the songs were you had a hit and they went to #1 and all that. But I just loved all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Derek, how about you?
Yeah, well, we were kind of moving in the same circles, going to the same places, listening to the same tunes, seeing the same bands. I had a big crowd of pals, and some of them were kind of heavy metal guys, some of them were mod guys, some of them were punk guys. So you were getting all these different influences. But you were all kind of going out and about, going into town together, and meeting like-minded people. I suppose at the kind of end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, I kind of got heavy into Stone Roses. I loved the Stone Roses. And the kind of the Manchester scene, the Happy Mondays as well, loved that. And then just by chance, kind of discovered Teenage Fan Club. I think I bought one of their first singles, and at that time I didn't even know they were from Glasgow, and so I kind of got heavy into them. And then of course I'd kind of followed Andy's bands, from kind of Captain America, Eugenius, Boomerang. Played drums a couple of times in Boomerang, and went to see them a whole load of times. So I was just a right kind of mixing pot of people that were kicking about into all different styles of music, and you just kind of picked up on a lot of things. I was a kind of old punk to heart, and loved the Clash. The Clash were kind of my band. Still love them to this day. But I think the thing about the Clash is they've got so many different kind of genres within their output that if you start going down a wormhole, you start listening to some reggae stuff, you start listening to kind of R&B, you're working your way back. Who influenced that one? Who influenced that one? And you just keep going back, and I love doing that. I love going onto YouTube at night and work your way back. Listen to a song. Oh, I remember so and so did a cover of that, and kind of going down a wormhole that way.
Yeah,
remember one of the first sort of live gigs. They're all live, I suppose. One of the first gigs I did was up in the Forest Field up in Calder, and it was a lassie's 18th. It was at school, and we were only 16. And I think actually one of the McAleer brothers was probably, we were all underage, I suppose, but it was I suppose it was a special thing. But it was Safe European Home by the Clash we covered, and I just thought that was the first time. Obviously you knew about the Clash, but you never really listened to many of the songs. And from that moment on, I loved it. But see, still to this day, I still don't know. I had to sing this bit of the refrain. But I just was howling to England. I can't remember what the line is, but you to sing this line. And every time I hear the song, I just laugh. But we were 16. We were all just. It was just crazy, and Eddie was going mental when we played it. So I've always got a soft spot for that song and the Clash. But I always thought the Clash were like they were really, really poppy, weren't they? As well, they had good songs. They had great songs. They should have been massive. The Clash.
It was a right mixed bag. It was one of my first gigs, the Clash at the Apollo,
reggae,
and this
punk
was
and all that.
it was in 80. I think 81 it was. and I was my mate who was 11, and I was 13 at the time, and
I know.
my mate's dad had he ran the kind of a little shop in the Albany Hotel in Glasgow, and the Clash were staying at the Albany before the gig, and Joe Strummer gave his dad 3 tickets. So myself and my mate and my mate's brother, we all went to see the Clash at the Apollo. So I mean, that was my kind of introduction to the Apollo. Seen the Clash. It was an eye opener. It was great.
Yeah, amazing. Well, let's talk about the bands then. Derek, how about you? How did you get into bands, and what was the first band you were in and stuff like that?
Oh, well, I was always into drums from as young as I can remember. I can remember kind of like preschool, so I must have been about 4, and my dad kind of dropping a bombshell that he owned a drum kit, but it was at his uncle's house. And so for about 6 months, please get the drum kit back. Please get the drum kit. I was just crazy on drums. So eventually got the kit back, and I kind of started playing from then.
Wow.
That kit didn't last too long. My younger brother kicked all the skins in, so that was that. And then I was just always into drums. Even at school, if there was a kit lying about, I would love to play along the tunes and whatnot. And then kind of got a kit. I think I was about 14 or 15, and it was like the usual young guy. Every Christmas, every birthday, what do you want? A drum kit. And oh, you're not getting a drum kit, too noisy and whatnot. I really want a drum kit, so he kind of relented, and so he put the drum kit up the loft, and he had the power for the loft lights wired into the hall lights. So I would have my dinner at 5. I'd go up to play drums at 5:30, and the power would go off at 6 when the 6 o'clock news was coming on, and that was my half hour up. So in that half hour, it was pretty frenetic playing along to tapes.
Sure.
So I guess my first band was probably around about 15, 16 years old. I was kind of started getting into playing with other people, playing in bands.
Sure.
I was talking to someone recently about this, another drummer, and I was mentioning Big Ted McKenna. He was in the Sensational Like Savvy band, and they became a really close friend. And me and Charlie, he stayed not far from here, and he used to come down. We used to go out to go out for him, go out walks and that, talk to him. And I think he was maybe angling for me to write a book with him and help him with his book. And it was an amazing story. Some of his stories were incredible. But I found out that he was too timely. He was speaking to all these famous writers as well, asking them to I mean, he was really famous people, Ian Rankin, I think, and guys like that. He was friends with. They were all fans of the band. But anyway, one point, it was quite interesting. One point, he kept saying to me, "You need to learn some rudiments. You never learned a rudiment?" Because I don't do rudiments. I just listen to records. Never had a lesson in my life. I just listen to Rolling Stones, and I listen to Elvis, and I listen to the Beatles, and I just copy stuff. And I listen to Can. I put Can on, and he's going, but how come you don't? But you know you're playing a flam triplet, and I goes, no, that's just to start. I'm going, that's just to start of something. You know, and that's just because you listen to records. No, I still, I know a 5-stroke roll. That's about it. A 5-stroke rolling being. I don't know anything. Honestly, it always amazes me how now with the advent of YouTube and everybody's Mozart and everybody's like Buddy Rich and they're all doing these things. These wee 10-year-old kids playing like Queens of the Stone Age. You're going, how can you possibly do this? But that's what my only regret. I should have learned some
more formal training. Yeah. No, rock and roll doesn't need formal training. It's all
1, 2, 3, 4.
Exactly. Yeah. So you into Boyfriend, Derek? How did that come about, and how did you hook up with like Creation Records and all of that?
Yeah, let me think. I had been playing in a couple of bands. Then I had moved to Airdrie, and I'd kind of lost touch with a few of the kind of musician type guys that I used to know that that stayed in kind of Bordeaux, Waddington, Hamilton area, Lanarkshire. And then I decided to get back into it, bought a kit. Hadn't even kind of started looking for a band, but I went to see the Pixies at the SEC in Glasgow. I'm not the biggest Pixies fan. The real reason I was going was because Teenage Fan Club were supporting them, and so watched Teenage Fan Club. Then in between bands, I thought I'll go for a wonder. There's bound to be people in here that I know that I haven't seen for a while. Met a couple of the boyfriend guys, Stephen and Mark, and they said to me, "Oh God, we've been trying to get in contact with you. Nobody knows your new number, and we're looking for a drummer." And I said, "Well, this is kind of fate. I've just bought a new kit." So got invited along to a rehearsal room in Motherwell. And what I didn't realise was the rehearsal room that they were using was Teenage Fan Club's rehearsal room. They had their own space. And so the first time I kind of turned up to drum with these guys, and Jerry Love's sitting in the corner, and I was kind of, "Oh, hi, you know, how you doing? I've seen your band loads of times, you know, big fan of your band, and now I'm using your rehearsal room." So that's kind of how I got into Boyfriend. And that would have been maybe 90, 91, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Must have been 91, I think. And I never ever saw the Pixies because that night the stage collapsed after one song, and we all got our money back. So, and people were really angry. It was like, "Oh, I can't believe it!" You know, there's I can't remember. They're halfway through the baser or something, and the stage kind of ding.
Wow.
Chaz Banks, who was their manager at the time, or the road manager, who became Teenage Fan Club's manager. He had some balls on him, you know, to come out to the front of the stage and say the gig's cancelled, the stage has collapsed. There's a lot of angry people getting out, but I was quite happy. I got my money back. I was like, I was only there to see Teenage Fan Club anyways.
It's great. It's great. I mean, how far did the band get in terms of, you know, I guess commercial success, if you put it that way? How far did the band get?
Not very far at all, to be honest with you. I mean, it was nice getting a deal, you know. But you know, but we were quite prolific. Stephen, who was the kind of main writer of the tunes, every rehearsal we had, he would have 2 or 3 tunes, and this went on for years and years and years. And then any tune that he had, you know, the next week you would come in. Try that with a capo on 2. Try this. I've wrote a new part for this. So the songs were consistently evolving. But we'd done a few kind of demo tapes using kind of Teenage Fan Club's equipment. Both at the Teenage Fan Club rehearsal rooms and at Berkeley, which is kind of famous rehearsal rooms in Glasgow. We'd done some demo tapes. And we got the deal off the back of the demo tapes. It was Dave Barker who signed us to the Creation offshoot August Records. And he signed us and 18 Wheeler on the same day.
Oh wow!
And that was the first time that was the first time I met David Keenan as well. And it turned out his mum and dad stayed like 2 streets away from us in Airdrie.
I
guess, you know. Yeah, so that's how I met David, and I haven't heard from him for a wee while. We kind of chat now and again online, but he's a good guy, David.
That's good.
Seems an interesting character. Yeah. It seems like
cracking gear. He'd cracking gear when he was in the stage in post, but it was like MC5 here. Remember his curly hair. If he grew it, I've never talked to anyone that knew so much about music in my life. He would just sort of come over and talk to you in the pub, and he would just be there for about an hour, and he wouldn't stop talking about music. You know, he was a couple of years younger, and he was a bit younger, and he was really, really into it. That was chalk whenever they did it, but that was some night, and that brings you nicely. I think I'm maybe putting my foot in it here. We look and all. Have you've actually maybe got a narrative here? You've got a story going here.
No, crack on. No,
I
I've
was
got
going to say
nothing.
boyfriend and 18-wheeler on that night. It was an incredible night.
It's next on my list of things to talk about. So let's talk about it. Go ahead. So King Tut's. So 18-wheeler, the headliners, right? And Boyfriend are playing to pick up the story.
No, Boyfriend were headlining.
Boyfriend were headlining. Oh, I apologise. Fucking hell! I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
apologise.
Book team up, man.
You know, Andy, you need to read Andy's book. Get up to speed.
I should have brought a copy. Shouldn't have done.
I read the first chapter. I read what was available on Amazon free sample, which is what I had in the time when we set up this interview. I will read it. I will get a copy. I promise.
Jeez.
I will.
Maybe I've got a quick.
Yeah. So the kind of
so. You Japan as well? You up the road? So you just.
Sorry, what were you saying, Ash?
No, I was just going to say if Derek's too modest to say, I could sort of give a quick press say what happened. They were the headline band, and there was a few other bands in the bill, and one of them are Sister Lovers, one of them is 18-wheeler, and this other band who are friends of Sister Lovers, they were invited up. And they come on and they managed to they all, I think not all of them, they gave up time. Some of them, everyone apart from one band, never gave up some time so they could get some stage time. They weren't going to go on Oasis because nobody knew they were coming, and they basically let them do it for free. They gave them some out of date tenants lager. That's all. I think that's all you really need to know. And then Alan McGee was there, and standing beside it was Eugene Kelly, me, Alan McGee, and his sister Susan. And they were all, this band come on, and I thought they were okay, but he was going mental. And I know Derek liked him a lot better than I did, and I remember talking to him about it at the time and talking about it over the years, and I just didn't see it. I just didn't see it in them. I thought they were. I felt a bit sorry for them. I thought they were a wee bit out of date, and it just showed you. But it's just magical. It's a magical story. Sort of how it can turn around.
So, what do you think? What did Alan McGee see that you weren't seeing? And was his reaction that instant? Was he like, "Fuck yeah, this is it"? He was drinking double Jack. I don't know what else he was on. I know he's nice and dry now, and he's really on it, and he's good fun and all that now. But then he was bouncing up down, and he had double Jack Daniels and Coke, and it was it came out. He was dancing, and it came out and into my leather jacket, and I went like to Eugene in his lap. And then I think, I'm not sure if Eugene left or not. Nobody can really remember much, but all I remember was standing watching them, and because they had a song called Rock and Roll Star, and I thought, they're being ironic, right? Because they didn't look like rock stars. To answer your question, I think he was there because we didn't know at the time, but he was in charge of Sony. He owed Sony a lot of money, so he wasn't looking for like a creation band. If that was the case, he would be signing up probably Sister Lovers, because they were the probably more like the Parcels or something. That kind of a band. You can imagine he was looking for like a big fucking rock band.
But he was looking for, and he was thinking about the style and the fashion, the street. He was there, like I was saying, I think I said in the book, he was almost like an old school music impresario for the 60s. He was looking for the cool, sexy guy that
Ron manager, cigar out of the inside pocket.
Exactly. Yeah. Somebody like, somebody looked dangerous and that. They did look. The way the Stones looked quite in the 60s, and the Stones looked really like nasty looking. They were, that I think there was that element to it. I didn't see it, and God, it was amazing. It's an amazing story to sit and watch them. And then, but the thing is, I have to say, I mean, from whenever I heard they got a record deal, I was willing them to do well, because I didn't think they were offered a deal like that. He never signed a deal till later on in the year, October or something. But I actually heard Alan McGee saying, "Do you want a deal? Do you want a deal?" And Noel Gallagher was humoring him, going like that. "Oh, take a tape." He goes, "I don't want a tape. I've just seen you." And he said that for about 2 feet from where I was standing. And I was like, "What? I couldn't believe this was happening." And I told people were laughing at me. People thought I was away with it. I was on something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was a nice night. It was a bank holiday. It was bank holiday Monday, wasn't it? The end.
That's right. Yeah.
Thingy. And
31st of May.
31st of May.
So did they come back to the other
1993.
bands, Derek, and say like, "Fucking hell, we've just been offered a deal by Alan McGee"? Did they come back and say that to the other bands?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, we knew by the end of the night that McGee had offered them a deal. So yeah, they were perfectly friendly. The kind of mix up
They were nice.
kind of came about because we had my boyfriend had been touring the September '92, so and that we had been down in Manchester, met up with Sister Lovers, and
Afghan Wigs as well.
Rehearsal room.
No.
Aye, it was the Afghan Wigs tour, the Sub Pop tour, and so Sister Lovers shared a rehearsal space with Oasis, and we kind of had mutual friends through a guy called Mark Coyle, who he ended up doing the kind of front of house sound for Oasis for a few years, and had produced or co-produced the first album. Mark was a cool guy. Mark McAvoy, who played bass in Boyfriend, and Mark Coyle had both worked for Teenage Fan Club and had done kind of UK, European, and US tours with Teenage Fan Club. Mark doing the sound, and Mark from Boyfriend being the fan club's guitar tech. So on the kind of Manchester date, Mark had put the band up in his flat for the night. Sister Lovers had kind of said, the next time you're playing Glasgow, can you give us a shout and we'll come up and support you? So they said, yeah, that's cool, yeah. So got to the kind of May gig, getting organised for that, got in contact with them, said, if you want to come up, and they said, yeah, that's great. And then I think they must have been bragging about it, because then the next thing, Mark Coyle got in touch with us to say, oh, I hear Mr. Lovers are coming up to play at Tuts. If you get room for another band, I'm working my mate Noel's band called Oasis. They're looking for a gig as well. And if two bands came up, we can
isn't it?
And it makes it kind of economically more viable. Well, and we were like, well, the more the merrier, you know what I mean? That's fine. But we didn't tell the promoter. So I guess we were the only ones that knew that Oasis were coming. Nobody else did. And my kind of memory of the night was initially Tuts were being a bit arsey about it, saying, no, there's only 3 bands playing. And we said, well, we've invited them up. So the compromise was we cut our set short by kind of 10-15 minutes, and so did Sister Lovers, and that freed up some time for Oasis to dive on and do their thing first. But as Andy said, there was literally, Andy, about 10 people, 12 people that stood and watched it. I remember seeing you standing with McGee. I was just standing with myself, and my kind of memories of it were, because they were using all our equipment, amps, drum kit.
They were using your equipment.
They just used everything that was on stage. Yeah. So when they went on and started playing, my first thought was, oh, they're loud and it sounds great. So that means they're
gonna fuck up your equipment
because it's all their gear, you know. Yeah. And so I mean, I like the tunes. The one that really stuck out for me was they did a cover of I'm the Walrus. And when I heard that, I thought, man, I wish I'd thought about doing that as a cover. It's a great tune, but it was a great cover as well. And that's the one that really kind of stuck out for me on the night.
Yeah. And Alan McGee as well.
And they were quite friendly. I got one of the tapes, and when it kind of started to take off, I was copying this tape for anybody that wanted a copy of it. And so this was some demos and whatnot. And then, funnily enough, when Definitely Maybe finally came out, on first listen, I thought I didn't take to it because I think I was so used to listening to the demos, which were pretty basic. And my first thought was, oh, that's overproduced. It's too polished. It's too. But when I listen to it now, it's a pretty powerful album. And I think there's not a bad tune on it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, well, except for Dixie's Dinner, but yeah.
You think about that as like
incredible. I like that one.
It's an incredible piece of So almost like it's creativity to have that eye and that ear and that imagination to think this could happen. And I know there was a little bit elements of luck and circumstance that allowed that album to finally come out. And there was a lot of pressure on them, and there was a lot of things going wrong all the time. But somehow to go from that night to that first record, I remember seeing them at Tea in the Park about just maybe about 11, maybe 10, 11 months later, and it was unbelievable. I was nearly in tears watching them. I was willing them and watching them as if I was standing there, and I thought, this is happening. There was one point, I said the book, there was one point where during one of the songs when Noel hits one of the pedals and everyone just goes, just takes off. And I think that's what, and I think Oasis, at that point, and it's just like, it was just like everybody looked around at each other and went, this is special, this is going to happen. You knew then it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all kicked off pretty quickly as well, didn't it, Andy? It really kind of snowballed really quickly.
They got the offer from...
That Tea in the Park appearance was in...
That'd be July.
I was going to say that Tea in the Park appearance was in the King Tut's 10. And
they were halfway during the day. They weren't even headlining.
Nowhere. The tent was absolutely rammed, and I was standing underneath it. It was like a kind of scaffolding tower with the sound desk on top of it, about 20 feet up. And Mark Coyle, who was doing the sound, kind of saw me, and he's like, "Come up." So I climb up the ladder, and I'll get the best view in the house of this gig. And they come on. There was a couple of footballs flying about, and they're putting the footballs about. And they just blew everybody away. Really,
and they were really relaxed. And smiling and all that, because they had all the aggro already was building up between them, but they were happy. They all looked happy. And I have to go back to the night I saw them. This is the first night I saw them. If I was asked to write down a sort of report, I thought the drummer was good. The drummer did his job and the sound was good. And he seemed to go, whenever they became more successful, he seemed to go backwards and I get edged out. I think that's probably because of the relationship between him and Noel. But I thought that he was a good drummer. He served the purpose of if you're a drummer, you've got to serve the song. I always stick up for him a wee bit. I thought drumming in that first album's fantastic.
Yeah.
Drumming in Live Forever, it's just like, it's inventive and it's on it all the time. Something there's something to be said for serving the song. This is the Drummers Union here. Sorry for taking over.
Sure.
What was that?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's I read his book as well. He's pretty bitter about it, but understandably so, right?
I would be, aye.
We're still on Oasis. I think you write in the book about Nebworth. Do you think they should have just called it a day after Nebworth and just walked away at the top of the game? I was there. I was at Nebworth with the other 250,000 people. Should that have been it?
Well, you can't really. The life doesn't work like that. Yeah, it's all right in hindsight saying all that, but I quite like the way that they did it. I quite like. I think they could only do it like Oasis, couldn't they? They think that you have this sort of level of fame, and they had a backstage area that was like it was like a huge big tent. It was like thousands of people there for the back, and it was just like the level they were at. That was the only kind of places they could have played at. They wanted to do these shows. Anyway, to answer your question, it would have been. I think I say in the book, it would have been perfect if they just called it. I would have just walked away. If you were wealthy, successful, and then two records, bomb. I mean, you think of all the sitcoms, all the sort of two good series, both. That's it. And they can always go back to it, but they keep those two records. If you think about that, from the King Tut's night to Nebworth, it's just that is an incredible. I mean, if you were at
2 years, right?
If you pitched that to
2.5,
get to, they would. But it's all the stuff in between. It's like the stuff whenever they went to Japan. They played out in Japan and they were like the Beatles. They did this amazing time, and then they come back and then they had to go and play all the crappy pubs in America. And no was not.
Yeah.
Liam, was not half. And it was just chaos. The Whiskey A Go-Go gig and all these things, they just blew because boredom, bad drugs, whatever. Just an incredible. But the whole thing is just got all these amazing key points in it. It's a great story. Somebody should write a book about it. We should.
They should indeed. If they did write a book, what would they call it, do you think, Andy? If they were to write a book?
The birth, death, and resurrection of Oasis.
That would be a great title.
Unburling Edinburgh, famous Edinburgh publisher.
Great stocking fella. Available at all good bookshops.
Exactly. One final thing on Oasis. But the listeners have been shouting at me if I don't ask you. But if we meet anyone, if we have anyone on that's got any kind of contact with Oasis, we always ask, is Noel a complete twat? Yes or no?
No.
No.
I've saw him.
Interesting.
I've seen the way he speaks to people, the way he treats people. There's the better stories than I have.
Oh, tell all, because he's basically, we got all of these stories about what a wanker he was, and then the last few people we've spoken to have given the opposite view and said he's lovely. So tell us the story.
I call guest list places.
You kind of take people as you find them, don't you? I mean, my experience of Oasis was that, from that King Tut's gig, going forward right up until kind of Nebworth and they did Loch Lomond. Anytime they were in town, they would get in touch, sorting us out with tickets. We'd go for drinks with them and whatnot. And right up to, as I said, Loch Lomond, they were, they had 2 nights up here. It was a Saturday and a Sunday. It was, because on the Friday afternoon, I met up with Liam in Glasgow, and we went for a couple of pints and just had a chat. And what was funny was, at that time I was I think I'd just qualified as a nurse, and I was working. So he said to me, "Oh, you coming to the show on Saturday?" I said, "No, I don't have tickets." Back then, I remember my brother being on the phone for about 18 hours just on redial trying to get tickets, and it just wasn't happening because millions of people were looking for tickets. So I didn't have tickets. And he said, "Oh, I'll sort you out a couple of tickets." And I said, "No, I can't go on Saturday, Liam. I'm back shift. I don't finish till 9:30. And he's like, because to my mind, the way you see these, Liam and Noel in the media, that's just the way they are. They don't put on an act. That's just the way they are. And he said, "Oh, what about the Sunday then?" And I said, "Well, I'm day shift on the Sunday, but I could get away about 1:30 and just jump in the car and come up." And true to his word, he sorted me out a couple of tickets. I picked them up. Went straight from work, picked up the tickets, and it was a lovely sunny day. Sat under a tree, watched all the bands. So and then fairly recently, a few years ago, but not that many years ago, my mate had got in contact. So Liam was playing the hydro, doing his solo stuff, and my mate contacted me, and even after all these years, said, "Oh, you coming down to meet Liam?" "I've gone down to meet Liam." And by that time, I said, "No, again, working. I was doing a clinic." So I said, "No, I'm doing a clinic. I can't just disappear and, cancer patients not getting their chemotherapy." So my mate Mick went down and met up with them. But no, good guys. And no,
good to know.
It's just a total muso. So I would say the two of them. I love the two of them.
I've got one brief thing that was in, and I just while you were talking about it there, and that night that I remember looking, and he had a lot of humility about him. Though I know this is going to sound funny, right? But he was he was kind of almost like he knew that McGee was a bit over the top, and he's trying to tell him to calm down, and he had a smile. This is before he got his teeth done, right? He had a smile, the old smile he had, and he had this sort of really warm. And it's dead funny. I'm sure it was Jerry Love, and I think I spoke to Jerry about something else, and then we were talking about that, and I was trying to get him to say something about it. But anyway, we were just had a chat, and he said that he reminded them, they all reminded him, Noel especially, the people he was at school with, and that connected with me, because I thought that's exactly right. I think that's why I've always liked them, because from Airdrie or Coatbridge or West Central Scotland, it's kind of a very similar to Manchester, and I think the socio-economic stuff is really important, and I think there's all that there as well, and I think there's the working class people that those are the least give the most kind of thing, and I think there's something to that. And then the other side of that is if they win the lottery, if they come in, they don't care what you think about them, and I think there's something quite healthy about that. That's my.
Sure.
I'll shorten it.
No, that's great. That's great, and that's great to know. Very, very happy to hear that they're both great guys. Okay, let's talk about Captain America. Andy, how
to you. Bye now.
How did you get to join the band and everything like that?
Well, as I said earlier, my friend Gordon Keane was in the BMX Bandits, and him and Eugene at the time. Eugene was in the Bandits at that point, and they were both planning and sort of doing a kind of a Pixies, sort of more rocky version of the Vasselines, I think. Yeah, I think that was the idea. And Gordon was always hitting at me and saying, "You still playing? You still fancy? And he was getting. Whenever we were having a wee coffees and all that, and reading the music papers for free, and W.H. Smith's and John Menzies and Airdrie, used to always say to me, come on, you need to, come on." So I went to see them a few times and were amazing. Brendan was playing drums with them at the time. Brendan from Teenage Fan Club.
Brendan O'Hare.
And Brendan O'Hare and James Seenan from the Vasselines. So it was Eugene and James for the original Vasselines. And James Seenan is a fantastic bass player, really intuitive, instinctive, and got this strange brain that he's just an incredible musician. But so they were there, and the gigs were fantastic. But I wanted to. I think I've said to Derek a few times, but I wanted to be a writer. I knew by then I wanted to be a writer. So I was actually 25 then. So, and I had been trying for about 15 to do something in music. And for some reason, I went up to Aberdeen. They took me up to Aberdeen. They were trying to. So I think maybe checking out my pattern and checking out my. They're just seeing how I was and all that. But Gordon knew me, but Eugene didn't know me that well. One of the things that I remember with Gordon was we were in a pub in Airdrie. You can see a theme developing. But we were in Airdrie, and he was saying to me, "You never believe it, Teenage Fan Club are out in New York." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." I couldn't believe it. Blew my mind. The New Music Festival or something, New Music Seminar, is it called? And maybe about 1990 it must have been, Del. I'm not sure when it was, right? It was about 1990. And he'd got a van. They went over, hired a van, an old van, and they were ripping it up, and all Geffen and all that went after him. They were like, believe it. Because I remember going to the 201 bus and going over to the Hatton Rig and seeing like the Boy Hairdresser, or seeing bands like that and the BMX Bandits and all that. And Teenage Fan Club were always hanging about, or Norman was and everything. And we get to the point. One night I was watching the TV and the phone goes, it's Gordon. Brendan's not showed up, but supporting Mudhoney and Hole. Can you get in here? And I was like,
Mudhoney?
You're joking. Mudhoney and Hole. And then Captain America. I went in. My father-in-law drove me in. And we went in, and I was absolutely cacking it. I was nervous. I was really, really. And Eric, the guy for Hole, was like, "Hey, Andy, we just heard you hadn't rehearsed or anything. You've just been called in. Why?" And I was like, "Make it worse, might not be." And then Courtney comes in, and then Courtney asks me for a lighter. "I don't smoke." And all that. It was just like one of the daft moments. I just thought, I really enjoy this. And then, the way whenever it's almost like, it's a horrible thing to say, to compare something as cool as all this to, but it was really like being in a fight with somebody, and I just thought, I'm just going to go in, I'm just going to do my John Boy, I'm just going to hit the cymbals like mad, I'm going to hit this, I'm going to go mental. And I just went on and I did it, and then Brendan ambles on stage, and at one point I thought James was going to hit him, because James was, "What you doing?" He was going to go mental. And then I thought, no, I've done my bit. And then Eugene introduced me as the new drummer. And that weekend, we got a rehearsal during the week. That weekend, we were playing the same show in London, New Cross venue it was. And it was Mudhoney, Hole and Captain America. And we were hanging out with Nirvana and all that. Sonic Youth were all there. And it was incredible. The next day, there was tickets to go to the famous Reading Festival. Whenever Eugene goes on stage, we cut, and I just come home. I went to go up the road to see Sharon. I come up the road. I was back home in Airdrie about 7 o'clock in my bed. Super. So that was how I ended up joining the band. And then within months, I was on the road with Nirvana as they were having a hit single. Yeah. And I wanted to be a writer, don't forget. And I kept a secret diary. But it was more like, I was thinking, at this point, I was writing comedy as well. And it was more like sketches and ideas and all that. But it kind of evolved into, wow, this is what it's like having a hit single. It was just crazy at the time.
Yeah,
it would put you off. It would put you off.
That's Nirvana's sweet spot, right?
So just going back to that gig you were mentioning, Andy, your first gig. Did you know any of the songs?
Gordon, good point. Gordon had during the coffee times in Airdrie whenever we used to go out, and Shirelles. We just used to go to Shirelles for a coffee, and he gave me a tape. He said, and a wee edge that I sensed that they were kind of a look for Sunday. He gave me, here's a rehearsal tape. So I had a rehearsal tape that they had, and it was one of their last gigs that they played, and I listened to that a couple of times. But I thought it sounded like a mixture of Neil Young and the Pixies. That was in my head. That's all I had in my head. Just hit them hard, hit them loud, and just go for it. Loads of cymbals, double cymbals. Hit the bass drum with cymbals at the same time. It was just that there was a lot of Neil Youngy things. It was Neil Young was a big thing at the time, remember, with Teenage Fan Club and all that.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good. It's interesting. But it was totally, I mean, you couldn't, if I, sometimes when I'm telling people this, I kind of, there's another part of my brain's going, you sound as if you're just making this up. People are like, what? That is just so far-fetched that people don't believe it, but
yeah,
there are witnesses. Ended up with stuff on, I mean, that record behind you ended up on, a lot of my stuff's used on it. Someone Atlantic Records, so that's all right for somebody that doesn't know a rudiment.
Yeah,
it's good. It's all attitudes.
Well, it's
kind
got
of
the
funky
sticker on it that says Captain America apparently on the sticker on it. I've always enjoyed that. Yeah, it's Captain America apparently.
Oh, apparently.
Yeah, which is great.
It's
great. I just want to say like that. That's like the sweet spot for Nirvana, right? When they were in their ascendancy and they hadn't quite made it massive, but that exciting period for any band.
It literally. How
was it to witness that like night after night? How was it to see that build up?
It was getting tighter and bigger. I remember I was talking to this wee guy a couple of weeks ago. He's a journalist guy that I know, and I'm not going to name him. And he was saying that he kept asking me about this, and I said, well, at one point when we started, we were so disorganised that the van broke down. We never made it to the first gig in the tour, and we're like, this is going to be, I'm glad I brought a notebook for this, honestly. It was just chaos. Everything we could do, we got wrong, right? It was just a nightmare. Eventually we managed to sort of click with them, and everything was going well, but you could see them, you saw them a lot at the start, and then they were away doing sessions, and they would do stuff, and then once they were away doing Top of the Pops, right? And at one point, the next night, I was for some reason, I used to sneak away. I didn't want anyone to know I was writing a diary, and I'd sneak away. And he was sitting pretending he was sleeping. He's going, I'm not going to do the accent. He's going, why are you so scared of writing a journal? And I said, it's a diary for a start, wee man. It was, I never said wee man, but it's a diary.
Kurt, you're talking about
a diary. Oh, you're like a Scottish Anne Frank. That's what he said to me, to take out the book. He said, I'm like a Scottish Anne Frank. It was really, really funny. It was. You don't get that across. It was really dry, but a lot of the guys in the tour were all. They were that knackered. And we get into that. I'll get to the point in a minute. He you could tell it was getting to him a wee bit, and they were tired and they were busy. Sometimes you'd look at them and you'd think, how are they going to be going on stage? And then they would go and find energy and just went on stage, and it was just because of the fans and all the crowd willing them. It was this energy. And every night they were doing it, but they were really overworked. Honestly, ridiculous how much they were doing. And anyway, they were on Top of the Pops. Then I said to him about it, and he went, "We did he's like, we've blown it with Top of the Pops." I go, "What do you mean you've blown it?" And he went, "Oh, we've blown it. I did a stupid modesty thing and just sort of acted stupid and just stood at the look at the camera." It's
a legendary performance.
I know,
yeah.
And then. So we were sitting watching them. I'll never forget this. We were sitting watching the Sheffield University in the common room, in the old chairs for a common room at a university. And we're all sitting waiting for a wee beer before we all went on stage. And we'll be on first because we were on at 7:30 every night because we were rubbish, right? We were the first band. So they were sitting there. Eugene's over there. James, we're all sitting. We're all getting all excited and all that. He's on Top of the Pops, and they didn't realise. I think they knew what Top of the Pops was, but it wasn't until they saw us they realised Top of the Pops is a big thing. He was sitting down and watching a big game or something. We were sitting watching it, and then they come on, and it's like, "Oh, the lights on."
Yeah, it's great.
So he's like, and he's like, the lights on. And we're like, what? And you could see, I looked around, and Chris Novoselic, because about 6'9", he's going like that, sliding down the chair onto the floor. He's just sliding down.
Embarrassed?
Dave's like that, and Kurt's like that. The three of them thought they were at, and we all jumped up, and we were like, that's amazing. Nobody ever does that. That is dead serious about it. And so I think after that, watching Nirvana watch themselves and Top of the Pops is just like, just chaos, just funny, just mental.
Yeah. Did you
Can't
get
even see
much
it
time
anymore.
to speak to him by himself, like Kurt, and
I know
about
a
what
lot.
was happening to the band? Did you get to
Just
speak
no,
to
I
him
never. I
about
wouldn't be a journalist. I would talk to him as if I was a
that?
musician. If I talked to him like about music, and he was into. He used to sort of speak a lot whenever I was trying to. This is you can't make this up, right? I'm trying to get him to shut up so I can make my diary. Right? I had the things in my head, and I've got like a
Shut
head
the
that's got
fuck up,
10,
Kurt. Yeah.
10. I know exactly, you know. So
Yeah.
I had a Walkman. I said, "What are you listening to?" And I said, "Oh, it's the Pixies." Or it's Pod. No, it wasn't. It was Pod by what's her name? Before
The
that, Pod.
Breeders.
Anyway, so thanks, Breeders. They go, "Oh, I love that." And there's like Steve Albini, you know. I said, "Yeah, it's dead dry here." I gave him a Walkman. That's how old it was. I made a Walkman. I could take my Walkman. And I said, "No, I got." And he took his out. And then I gave him the tape, as if I was babysitting him. But the guys that were looking after him, they used to come into the room and for interviews for him. If he was going to interviews and he would pretend he was sleeping, and I would go along with it. He's not been well. I would say he was a bit sick. He wasn't very well. He wasn't very. He was away in the toilet. Wasn't he good? No, he was having a sleep. And then he'd go away, and then he'd go like that, come up with a thing, and then we start talking away again.
Wow.
He
Even at
was a wee
that
fucking
stage.
tramp.
Okay.
He was like, but he was really, you know, he was funny. He was just not into all that. He just wanted to either sit and talk, and everyone was a bit scared of him. But we're probably both the same. Derek and I, we just take as you find and talk to people, I think. That was good. What was the question again? It was just a really good time. It was really interesting watching them. And by the time we got to Nottingham, I remember I used to go for a wee walk before a gig, hide my pass and just go out and stoat about. And I was in Nottingham, and you'd have thought there had been a terrorist attack or something. People were sitting in the street crying, and I thought something had happened. And police were there, and I thought, what's happened here? Was a shooting or something? It's because they couldn't get in. And they were so big. And it was mad. It was just absolutely mental. Plus, another thing I should highlight, and I'll shut up, is just how kind they were. Dave Grohl, Andy, use my kit. That kit's shit. My good kit, my premier kit. And he's like, and then I was like, Derek will tell you if you're a drummer and you get this, you go like that and you go, bum, bum. And it's just, this is like John Bonham, the tune like Bonham. You're like, and already your game's improved. You're like, this is good. And it was everything they did that way. James did that way. So did Boyfriend. We put a gig in Bellshill Academy, and I broke Stephen Jolly, who we were talking about earlier from Boyfriend's Fox AC30, not once but twice. I think I had a dodgy thing in Ross's guitar or something was wrong with it, and I blew these. And he just got up and went and got another one. Never said one word. That was it. So that's, I'll shut up now. Loads of good stuff about Nirvana. It's in a book. The book did well. The book's been out.
I'm looking forward to reading it.
Versions of or something. Yeah.
Well, based on the chapter headings, did you? It sounds like you made it out to Japan, where I am. How was that?
No, I never made it to Japan.
You didn't?
No,
Okay.
Just the UK. Though they wanted us to do Europe, but we hadn't enough money. We were all signing on and housing benefits. I was still staying in my mum's house at the time, so I was getting my dinner. But the boys we were all skint and all that.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah. It's just the way it is. It's lovely.
Yeah. I mean, can I ask you, Derek, as you were kind of part of the scene, what effect did Kurt's spotlighting of the Scottish scene have? Because he was wearing Captain America t-shirts, he was talking about BMX bandits, he was covering the Vaselines, he was basically putting a massive spotlight on a tiny Scottish indie scene, really. Well, not tiny, but, hitherto, unknown outside of Scotland. What's the impact of that spotlighting for people in the scene?
I don't know. I think if you had asked me or Andy that question, I don't think that you're going to get a very accurate answer. I would almost describe it as us being in the eye of the storm, because as I said earlier, we moved in the same circles. We were all kind of pals with each other. We all like to kind of see our mates do well. It was good. It was good to see Andy like playing drums with Captain America, going on tour with Nirvana. The two things are detached for me. I think it was just kind of, when Andy came back and how was the tour? Oh, it was great. Oh, what are Nirvana guys like? I was a fan of Nirvana. I loved the Bleach album. Come back to what I was saying earlier about when the Oasis album came out, and I thought it was overproduced. I wasn't really that much of a fan initially of Nevermind because I loved Bleach, and I just thought Nevermind's a bit too polished and whatnot, but I really love Bleach. But, Andy coming back from tour, what are the guys like? They're sound. That's all you need to know. If they're good guys and they treat you well, and then obviously when they got really big and Kurt's getting photographed with Captain America t-shirts on and BMX Bandits t-shirts on, these are just like our pals, So it was like, that's cool that he's doing that. It's giving us a bit of hype.
Yeah, I mean, did like A&R guys descend on Glasgow looking for
by association?
the
It really, yeah. Yeah, well, I suppose there was a degree of that as well, It's probably why Boyfriend gets signed, to be honest with you. So, and then there was loads of bands around at that time that were all kind of like Thrum. They did pretty well. They get signed as well, and again, they were from kind of our area too.
Yeah. So what happened?
Dave Barker always had a really good. His finger was on the pulse. He knew. I mean, he was at the pastels and the Vaselines and up before Andy, really, wasn't he? He was always on it, Dave.
Yeah,
that was the guy that signed at the start of August, the label.
Okay.
I was going to say something there about the just briefly about the maybe equals on that the Nirvana thing. After it's a wee bit sad. After we played Tea in the Park, I formed another band and I was a singer and a guitarist and drummer on it until I got another drummer in, and it was almost like I remember that.
What's the band called?
Local. It was called Boomerang. We never really done anything, but we were kind of alright locally. But we used to play King Tut's and Nice and Sleazy and the 13th Note and all these different shows. We played quite a bit. I said to Teddy, we'll gig like mad for the year, see what happens. And we were getting offered record deals and that. Things were happening. We had good songs, and we just needed to be a bit of a break. But anyway, by that point, I was probably 26, 27, and by 1994, after Kurt and all that ever happened, all the stuff that went wrong, we were playing Tea in the Park, and Dave Grohl's in the middle of an interview, and he turned around and he saw me. And I hadn't seen him for 3 years. He looked at me, he ran out of the middle of the interview, during the interview, and ran and just jumped on me and gave me a massive cuddle. He's a wee skinny guy then. He's getting bigger now. I think he did now, mate, not moved. And then I just cuddled him. Wow. And I'm saying, oh, man, I'm so sorry, He started greeting, hugging. But it was a moment. It was probably one of the nicest things that ever happened to me, because sometimes it felt as if it was all just a fairy tale and I just was going to London for the weekend and making stuff up about touring Nirvana. Suddenly people saw Dave, and Dave was starting the Foo Fighters then. He's going, when are you guys playing? I go, we're just coming. We were just actually going off stage. We went on early so we could go and enjoy it and get our money, because you get paid. They looked after it, Tea in the Park. You get paid and you get good beer and you get loads of guest list places. But it was fantastic for him to do that. But I always say, people, I know Dave's become really, really big now, but I think if he sees you and he knows you, you'd admit he's a good guy. I'll stick up for him as well. I know he's become really, really. I mean, he's hanging out with Paul McCartney and all that now, but I still think but he was I liked him. He was very kind. He removed a poisonous scale from my thumb down here. I showed him it in Glasgow, the QM. It was all blue and swollen. He's got, we need to get it out. And they were onto tattoos and Indian ink and all that, but he had this sort of punctured beer kit for drummers or something. He went, squeezed all the stuff. Are you having your breakfast at the moment? Anyway, squeeze all the stuff out. And I was thinking of cuddling him, looking after us and giving us all the gear. They were all like that. Chris was like that with James, the bass player, this big, probably amp and all that. And Kurt they were dead. Then at the end of the tour, we got on stage. I was on stage playing drums with Dave as well. So that's a wee memory. Jim.
Two kits set up, you mean?
No, I was playing the floor tom.
All right. Cool.
And then, but trying to keep up with him. Oh, talk about a metronome. What a drummer. Sure. Honest to God. And he had so much, he was a wee skinny guy, but he was so, the way he played, he just sort of, at that point, the best in the world, I would say. At that point, just, I'll shut up now. You better get back. I'll be chance.
Well, okay, so Derek, what happened next? Pick up the story. So what happened to Boyfriend? When did they call it a day, and what did you do after that? Oh, it's frozen.
No, it's been cool. It's frozen, I know.
It's frozen for you as well?
Was it?
Is he frozen for you as well? As
It
he.
runs for me.
Oh, okay. Sometimes it's not the same, isn't it? All right, we'll wait until he comes.
If he's the big massive house with Wi-Fi, he probably can hear us. It might be nice to him.
Oh, okay. Sure. Oh, okay. He's coming. He's all right. Well. Okay.
He's
Well,
going
I'll
out
ask the
and in
same
again.
question to you. So, did you stop playing music and just become a writer, or what happened?
Once, what happened was about 28, 29, I had a first sketch on a popular TV show, a football show called Only an Excuse. And I remember thinking it was better than being in bands. And I thought, well, it was just getting that on the telly, and then I had stuff on the radio, and then I had stuff on. I started writing for newspapers and a lot of work. I also took on a part-time job, a government job, working there. So it was good. I was quite secure and quite happy, and I was doing well with that. But I never ever felt I was good enough to be an author, if that makes sense. I thought I had my chops again. I went back, and comedy's brilliant for that. And most of the books I do it's like music, comedy, and football. It's like the intersection between the three of them. So, but I've always loved comedy from being a really early age, and always wanted to do that. And then once I started writing, there was a moment where all the sort of the rhythm and beat and pace of actually playing the drums really helps your sentence writing. If you're writing sentences, especially with comedy. You get a build up, a small. There's different, different structures and different rhythms, and then you hit the joke at the end. But it was just a lot of learning going on, and a lot of just experience. Then once I got to about 2011, 2012, I had that thing whenever the legend in Nirvana kind of grew without them ever doing anything, and a lot of people would. Because I kept notes about everything, it was more like dates and times and what happened and all that. Like, it ended up evolving into a diary. But I kept loads of wee post-it pads and loads of notes of everything that happened. And then I felt I had the confidence to maybe go on and do it and to become an author. So I got offered a couple of deals, and I went for an indie company, and then they couldn't do it because they were scared in case we get sued. So I get bounced up. They had a contact, and then a bigger publisher picked it up. And that's how the first one came out. Then the next one that came out should have been the Oasis one, but it took about 10 years.
Oh, he's back.
He's back. I've been covering for you.
My laptop just died as if the battery.
It's probably listening to me.
Good.
No, it was probably listening to me. It's good.
You've overheated my laptop.
The laptop went to the Dignitas clinic.
I know.
Can I see that? Too late now.
Okay, so it took a while for the Oasis way to come up. But now it's good timing, right? Because of the reunion and everything like that. So I guess it worked out.
It took about 10 years. And I've got, he's my witness because he was the only one that I really spoke to about it. And I kept on trying to, Al McGee was kind of quite good as well. He used to speak to me on MySpace and things like that and say, just wait your time, bide your time, things will happen. But he said a brilliant line. Is one of the messages, and I think he kind of liked it because I've heard him saying that before. I'm not going to swear because it's Sunday morning, but he said, Sunday morning here.
Yeah.
And he went, and I said, Jen, I'll get back together. He goes, let's effing hope not, because if they don't, we're all effing legends. Because if they don't get back together, the myth goes on. But as soon as it's classic McGee, I've heard him saying it a few times, and I just, good for you, good line. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, Derek, where were we? So what happened? What happened next?
My boyfriend. Well, I think with our album, so we'd released an album, and then we had Facing had given us more money for demos, but we were so prolific that by the time the album came out, we had like another album's worth of tunes. So we thought, well, rather than doing demos, we'll do an EP. So we recorded an EP, and we wanted it released. Alan McGee wanted us to release a track off the album, and we said no because the album was like old hat to us by that time. So we'd say, no, we don't want that released. And so you kind of learn the hard way that you don't argue with the guy that holds the first string. So it's like, well, I want to release it. If you want to release it, then there's not much choice and, not much point in you kind of staying on the label. And you're like, okay, So after that, we kind of plodded on and did some gigs and recorded some more tracks and kind of, we were kind of going up and growing our separate ways. Although we're all still in touch, we're all still good mates. So kind of boyfriend fell by the wayside. And then from there on in, I just started getting involved with loads of different bands. If anybody ever needed a drummer, then I was always up for it. And I kind of got more into the kind of recording and producing side of things. I quite enjoy doing that. Although I enjoy playing, I really quite enjoy doing the kind of production side of things. So I've got a little studio set up at home and, for bands round and recording. So still involved in that kind of respect and kind of funny enough. These days, I was working with a band lately called Fatale, which they're getting a bit of, recognition in Glasgow. And Christopher, who plays guitar in the band, is Stephen from Boyfriend's son.
Okay, wow.
So they were all over here doing some demos a few months back. And that's when you're old, when you're helping out your former bandmates doing demos.
Sure.
But they're playing Tuts. I think it's the 6th of January or the 9th of January. I think it is. They're playing Tuts. They're headlining Tuts. And it's practically sold out. So they're getting really popular. So I'm looking forward to going and seeing them in January. But they're a great band, and they kind of sound to my ear like kind of very early Teenage Fan Club, kind of Catholic education era. Quite an exciting band. I really like them. And I had a load of fun doing the demos over here with them.
Sounds fresh.
I'm making a note.
Sounds good. It sounds good.
Sounds good.
Sounds really fresh.
All right, I've kept you a long time. One final question, if that's okay, and it's a question we ask every person we interview. Which other band from the 90s would you have liked to have been in, and why? Is the question.
Smashing Pumpkins for me, maybe. I think.
Wow. Okay.
Or maybe Boyfriend.
Sure. Why?
Do the OCs? Do the OCs with two drummers?
Sure.
Yeah, good then.
Yeah, I love the OCs.
I love that first album of theirs. It was on. I got. In fact, again, it was Captain America. We played the Rough Trade Shop in London, and they didn't get paid. You're allowed to take 2 records. I took Velvet Crush, and I took Smashing Pumpkins, Gish, and it was just the drums on it sounded just incredible, just fantastic. But I don't think I'd be able to do it though. I'd need to practice for 6 months.
Sure.
Anyway, sorry.
Derek, how about you?
Oh, Teenage Fan Club, without a doubt. One of the best bands ever. I don't think anybody can touch Teenage Fan Club. Great. I love, again, early stuff, Catholic education, Bandwagon-esque. When we were sharing rehearsal rooms in Motherwell on the early days of Boyfriend, this was when they were recording Bandwagon-esque, and there was loads of like DAT tapes and rough mixes lying about. And the kind of deal was that, I think the fan club had leased this room and had it set up to do demos and whatnot, and they'd leased it for a year. And the deal was that if they weren't using it, anybody else could use it. So it didn't cost us any money, and you could be in there, writing, recording, and playing all day. I think the Pastels used it as well. Various other bands used it, but we used it a lot. And as I said, there was loads of kind of DATs and tapes lying about, so we were getting the kind of Bandwagon-esque first hand.
Wow.
And, we could hear that, listening to songs like Starsign, and thinking nobody's heard this yet. This is going to be. But can I knew this is going to really kick off for them.
We often talk on the podcast. I would say, Go on.
Definitely Teenage Fan Club.
It's a good answer. So we often talk on the podcast about they're one of the few bands that managed to kind of very naturally kind of bridge the US-UK divide. Not many bands did do that, but Teenage Fan Club totally did. Yeah, it's a good answer.
Charming as well. See, when we're on the subject to talk about things, I've just Derek and I have both been in a magazine, and it's kind of it's quite a cool magazine in Glasgow, Pan and Narrow it's called, and they both did. It's an Oasis special. It's out, so just a quick shout out to them, Pan and Arrow, and they're really stylish. They get a really good, really cool magazine, well put together, brilliant photographer, really well written, and Derek's got a piece in it. I've got some stuff in it as well. So it's just a wee quick. I know. Just
anything else? Again, that was my next thing. Was anything else you want to plug or get people to listen to or buy? So you got your book,
not really.
Andy, the Oasis book. Anything else you want to plug or get people to look at?
I've got a really good book about record labels out that is moving.
Oh,
but
I saw something about that. Yeah.
Label with love. It's doing quite well. It's just like all the record labels I love, and we anecdotes and stories about them. It's really interesting. It's doing well. A lot of social history in it as well because of the civil rights and all that. It was good. It's done well. Just now, obviously, I know you're sort of being polite. The Oasis book's out and it's going really well. The publishers are chuffed with it, but it's just I try to connect. I try to tell stories that are human and connect with people, and it seems to be working a wee bit. The Oasis, I was saying this whenever you were offline there, Derek, the actual Nirvana book, should have been the Oasis book after it, and it's taken about 10 years to come out. So it's almost like it's very similar in tone when you're writing it. You had to update a lot of it. There's quite a lot of sexism in the one to be changed. Anyway, a lot of things had to be changed, and I'm happy to do it. But so that's out, and it's doing well, thanks. Just there's loads of football books. We were saying earlier that I do football, music, and comedy. Yeah, I've done a really good book about Johan Cruyff, and I was in the Sao Paulo version of The Guardian talking about it. And there's like 29 million people live in that city. 29 million people in a city.
Sao Paulo, right. I live in Tokyo. It's about the same. It's huge. I know.
It's like that. So I was in that talking about my Johan Cruyff book. Johan Cruyff played. So football, music, and comedy. It kind of.
There you go. Don't get any more 90s than that. And we're so there you go. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. That's great. I'm going to stop the recording there. But thank you so much for giving me your time. And don't escape just yet. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right, there we go. Good interview, Luke. Well done again.
Yeah, it's a good one, right?
They've known each other for a similar amount of time as we have.
They have indeed, yeah.
How did they meet? I've already forgotten.
That's all the notes I've got.
They're in the same town.
Yeah, friend of friends. Yeah. How did we meet?
School, innit?
Yeah, I guess.
I met Luke in maths.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
We've been through this. I think we've been through it. We met in the vaulting team, didn't we? But
not for 100 episodes. Was that the first time we met?
Yeah.
I know that me and Dave met in maths, but I don't. Was it the vaulting team? Okay.
Well, we met in the vaulting team, but we didn't really form our friendship solidified when we went to upper school.
Okay. All right.
And you and Dave sat behind me and Twink.
Yeah.
Did Twink mean Twink?
Not a Twink.
No, it was short for Twinkle Toes because he was such a fast
runner. It didn't have the same meaning, I don't think.
No.
Yeah, he was fast. Twinkle Toes, wasn't it?
Twinkle Toes. Yeah. Covered a lot in that interview, right?
Fucking hell, yeah. A lot. Don't know where to start.
How could they be so close to the two bands of the 90s?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I know. Mental,
it's weird, isn't it?
It is weird, yeah.
And it's not like, Nirvana, they were in awe of them, right? Or their group and Scottish music.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, he talks about in the book, like Kurt was nervous, like the first time he played like the big gig in Scotland, because so many of his favourite bands he knew were going to be in the audience. Teenage Fan Club, the Vaselines, and Eugene. He was nervous about that, right?
Yeah, imagine being at those two pivotal points, the King Tut's gig, and sitting there when Nirvana watched Nirvana on Top of the Pops for the first time.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Did you come up with that quote, rock and roll doesn't need formal training? Did you make that up? Or was this just someone else?
I can't remember.
We were talking about, I think Andy was talking about how he never really sort of learned the drums properly and stuff. And you came out with, well, rock and roll doesn't need formal training.
Yeah, that's an original Luke quote. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't,
True,
does
though,
it?
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the problem, isn't it? That's a dying philosophy now. Most people feel like they need to be ultra proficient on musicians these days.
He talks a little bit about it in the Oasis book, actually, Andy. He says there's so many like YouTubers and like, you know, people that teach you how to do a fucking triple reverse fucking paradiddle. But
like,
you know, it takes away.
It's like everything else,
the passion.
The pressure on everyone to look a certain way, isn't there, from Instagram and whatever. But it's the same with stuff like that. There's a pressure on bands to feel like they have to be like brilliant musicians to form bands and stuff. Yeah, it's all changing. I think bloody social media, isn't it?
But you just learn by copying, right? That's what they did. They listened to records and learned to play it, right?
Yeah, but now, there's a lot of money.
They still have a lot of talent.
To do stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, you still got to have a basic talent, especially to play the drums. You've got to have timing for a start.
Oh, he's got a good quote about that in this book. He said you need 3 things. Oh, I can't think I'll be able to find it. Timing. I think I can remember. Timing, a sense of style, and fit the song, basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah, timing's the most important. If you haven't got timing as a drummer,
by fit the song, it means don't try. You should do what's best for the song, not what's best for you as a drummer.
Yeah, David I always get his surname wrong. Dave from Pearl Jam. He said the same thing. He said when he played drums in Pearl Jam, he was always thinking about how it could benefit sort of Stone's guitar solos and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Dave Grohl did the same thing, right? He could play like amazingly if he wanted to, but he did what the song needed, basically.
Come back in. Yeah.
I wish I'd learned the drums when I was younger.
But timing's so important.
Do you reckon you could have done it, Dave? Do you reckon you could have been a drummer?
Yeah, I think not a great drummer maybe, but I think anyone can learn.
You got good timing. You have
not
got
me.
Good timing. No, you
just take you a few more years, Luke, than most. But you could do it.
I don't think.
No,
for drums, if you haven't got timing, you ain't got timing. Can't learn that.
That was a joke. That was a timing joke.
No, but what I think you can learn stuff like that.
You can't. I really think you can. No, you can't.
I don't think I can.
You're wrong, Dave.
I ain't got that.
It's the one thing you can't learn in the world: timing.
It's not. You can.
Impossible. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You've either got it or you haven't.
I'm going to do some research on it, but I think you can.
All right. You reckon it's a 10,000 hours? You're a 10,000 hours theory guy.
You can't. It's a feeling. It's nothing. You can't learn this.
No, more than a feeling.
Also, with singing, some people find singing really hard.
Put it on the playlist.
But you can learn.
Singing's different. That's not about
singing.
Timing,
Singing, no. Singing, you cannot learn.
You can learn.
You can, but I can't. I can't do it.
Luke can't learn anything.
I can't learn. I can't.
He learned to drive.
I did learn to drive.
You said you'd never learn that, and you did.
He's learned a lot of other stuff. Music is different in that way. There are certain things different. I don't think you can learn.
I'm completely tone deaf.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird that you got. Yeah. Oh, you can't be good at everything, I guess, can
you? or anything.
18-wheeler as well. I've got to get them on. I love 18-wheeler. Crabs is one of my favourite songs from that era.
I know it.
Great song.
Off the top of my head, I don't know it. Okay. It's signed on the same day as Boyfriend to the same label.
Yeah, both great bands. That's the thing, like, before they signed Oasis, they still had, that's the annoying thing, and it kind of killed all of their aspirations when Oasis signed to all their energy. We spoke about, who were we speaking about this before? Where creation
Boo Radley's, I think we were talking about.
Yes, so all of their sort of energy went into Oasis. Which,
it killed creation, basically.
Well, it didn't kill him, did it? Made him shed loads of money.
Yeah, but effectively, again, he talks about it in
Killed
the
their
Oasis.
whole
Effectively, they became Sony.
Yeah,
is what happened.
Yeah.
It became like a major label.
They
A major label.
got absorbed into Sony, basically, and that's all they concentrated on. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So Andy was very, very honest. He said he basically didn't see it. He didn't see what Alan McKee saw in Oasis. I mean, do you think you would have done?
I honestly think I would have done.
Justify that statement.
Well, I mean, if Lear was singing anywhere near, he sings, later when they got famous. You just have to hear his voice and see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been good to see
it's
him
not a
doing
great
that cover
justification.
of Wars.
How can you not see it?
Again, he talked about it
in the benefit of hindsight.
He said that they seemed kind of like over rehearsed and not the kind of the loose swagger that they had later on. They felt they were a bit kind of nervous and over rehearsed and just kind of workmanlike band basically at that performance.
They probably were quite nervous. But yeah, it was interesting that Alan McKee just straight away said, right, we've got to sign these guys. Instant.
Yeah.
And like,
Noel tried to give him a demo tape and he's like, no, I don't need it. I've seen it. I don't need the demo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But also that they point out that Alan was not just, he wasn't looking for the same thing. He's looking for the whole.
No, he was looking for that
thing, the style.
Yeah,
exactly.
They obviously just, fitted his remit to a T and he's like, that's it. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. 12 people at that first gig. There you go.
Yeah.
Just goes to show kids
12 or 14.
never give up. You never know who's watching. That's why Main Street persevered for many years.
I mean, 12 was a good turnout for Main Street, to be fair.
Not even happy with 12. But you do. You never know. That's why you got to play like it's a room full of people, haven't you? Because you just don't know.
Exactly. You got to play
know who's
like...
going to wander in or wander out.
Exactly. You got to play it like it's you're playing Madison Square Gardens, right? However many people are there.
I like that a fella drummer gave a thumbs up to Tony Carroll. I like Tony Carroll. I love his drumming on that album.
McCarroll.
Yeah, that's what's said.
There was a more personality clash that he got booted out than anything.
I think so.
I reckon. They say that it was because he wouldn't have been able to play the songs on the second album, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that's...
I don't know, man. I mean, the songs are different on the second album.
Yeah, but they're
They
not.
are.
The only one with different drumming really is Wonderwall, isn't it? That one's got drumming's like almost the most important instrument in Wonder.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think so.
Explain to me why.
Well, there's bits of the song where you only hear the drumming, quite a few bits.
Do. Yeah.
It can't be that hard. I mean, it's brilliant, like sound.
We're not a good drummer.
You're the one that claims you can play the fucking drums. You never picked up a drumstick in your life.
David, he reckons he can play Wonderwall.
Exactly. He reckons he can play Wonderwall.
That'd be the first song I'd learn. Because it would sound good, but I reckon it's easy because it's quite
next
slow.
week, plays Wonderwall on the drums. I reckon you could. It's always because you hear about these stories and you just hear the end of the story, don't you? But it was interesting to hear that how Oasis ended up being there. They didn't just rock up; they were rehearsed with Sister Lovers or whatever, and then Mark Coyle asked if they could be on the bill and stuff. Yeah, you don't hear about any of that. Do you?
No, exactly. So it had.
They didn't just turn up and say, "Can we play?"
Exactly, and threatened to punch anyone that said no. That was all bullshit, right?
Yeah, none of that happened. So there's always like the start of the story that you're usually missing, which is great when you talk to when you find out what actually happened. A bit like the Nirvana story where they're the Top of the Pops thing when they're like, "Oh fuck, I think we fucked up here doing that."
Yeah, that was interesting.
Why did they think that?
Well, they thought they'd blown it. That was their chance on British TV, and they arsed around. Whereas it became like a legendary performance. Didn't it?
That's what you got to do in Britain. You get loved immediately if you do that kind of thing.
Yeah, but they didn't know
that.
That
is true. They didn't know that, no.
They thought they'd ruin their chances of success in the UK by being idiots on Top of the Pops.
It's good though, isn't it? It is funny.
Yeah. And it's funny when they tell this story about them watching it and they're sort of sinking into their seats and a bit embarrassed.
Sure.
And stuff. I love stuff like that.
It's legendary though, man. And any TV show that's going to try to make you mime and shit, they deserve that level of fucking disdain and piss taking, because that's a ridiculous thing to do, right? Oh man, I've been thinking a lot about Top of the Pops. Someone on the Facebook page posted a Zebedee performance from Top of the Pops.
Zebedee.
Really, Zebedee. Really fucking
Zebedee.
Incredible performance, man. Just like really cracking, going mental at the end and shit. And just to think that shit, like a shambolic, like lo-fi indie band like Zebedee being broadcast to millions of people on a fucking Thursday or Friday night when they're eating their dinner. It's just like, it's incredible to think, right?
Well, we spoke about
sad
before.
that it doesn't
like
exist,
Smash
man.
on there, didn't we? Smash on Top of the Pops. Yeah.
It's so sad that young people haven't got that now, you know?
Yeah.
I reckon they'll bring it back. They still have a Top of the Pops branded show. I saw it New Year's. They do like a review.
Oh, really?
They're still keeping
I think
with live
they'd have to come back.
performances.
We've spoken about it before, I think, but they'd have to bring it back in a different way. Then they could start a YouTube channel or something, you know.
They could have both.
Like
you can do both. Put it on telly and clip it up for the socials. It's, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, I agree. It needs to come back. Keep the campaign going. Bring back Top of the Pops.
Bring back Top of the Pops.
Get some T-shirts made.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Might sell
Bring back
better.
Top of the Pops. It might sell better than the generic indie.
Yeah, you're onto something there.
But
Don't bring back the presenters, though.
Some of them were all right. Well, not Jimmy Savile.
They're not in prison.
Jimmy Savile. Who else is?
Now then,
Bruno Brooks.
David Kitchens. You were on it a bit, yeah?
You were on it plenty of times. Yeah.
He's still respectable.
Yeah.
He is indeed.
Yeah, you could present it. You could present the comeback, couldn't you?
He could stand in if he gets sick.
Body double.
Well, okay, we've got another tick on the positive side of the Noel ledger.
I was going to say, I think we might have to end this. I think I think they might just be might be nice guys, and we just have to.
Yeah.
That's
what I want.
That's the
Me too.
I think that's what we've discovered. We've gone around. We've done enough research. I think we can ascertain that they're both decent fellas.
I'm trying to remember who actually didn't like him now. I've forgotten.
Lots of people. Mary Biker didn't like him. Said Noel was a bit mean.
I mean, we're not saying that those people's views aren't justified. They've obviously had different experiences, but you know, we all have off days, don't we?
Yeah.
I think we can say that they both seem like they were both, on the whole, decent.
Yeah, and it's great that Liam still remembers him and looks him up and everything like that, right?
Yeah,
a few
and
years ago.
Dave Grohl as well. Give shout out to him for, you know, he recognised them when they met up and stuff, didn't they? These things are important. It shows what sort of people they are, doesn't they?
It does indeed.
It shows that they're not too big for their boots.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought Dave Grohl would be, but yeah, it's good to hear that about Noel too.
I liked his stories about Kurt on the tour bus, so they were some of my favourite.
So was he saying that Kurt was often ill?
It's interesting. He said it. Well, in the book, he says that, you know, like he's famous. He had like stomach problems, which is allegedly why he had to take heroin. But Andy says in the Nirvana tour, but you could smell his stomach.
Oh,
that's
what?
It's like Dave's as well. like the gastric juices, I guess, because he was so sick. Can smell the stomach.
Oh,
that sounds horrible.
That's how. So he was, you know, genuinely, you know, sick. You know,
but heroin it clogs you up, doesn't it? So if you've got a bit of diarrhea, it would clog up that.
Does it really?
I think Imodium is an opiate.
You can't go taking heroin for a bout of diarrhea.
I'll give it a try.
Diarrhea.
But Imodium is a linked drug. It's like got similar molecules
is it
in
really?
it. Yeah.
Imodium's heroin.
I don't think Imodium is addictive though.
I don't know.
Try it. It's like jacking up Imodium.
I'd take a fair few.
Well, I've had it a few times. I didn't get addicted.
It would have been good to be on that tour, wouldn't it?
Yeah. With Hole and Mudhoney.
Hole and Mudhoney was first, and then the tour later was
the Nirvana tour. Well, both, both tours would have been amazing. Yeah, just like you say, Nirvana was just sort of on the up, weren't they?
Exactly. At that, it was probably the best time you're ever going to see them, right?
Yeah, but it was good that he was like what he's saying about how busy they were. I think people don't realise how busy bands get when they get to that sort of, you know, because they have to do all the interviews and stuff, don't they? And everything else. They don't just do the gigs; they have to do everything in between.
Yeah,
which I'd have loved, to be fair.
Yeah.
Did you do any interviews?
Oh yeah, I did Main Street doing interviews.
Well, we did a few. We were on a few radio stations, local radio stations. And
I
stuff.
bet it was like when Take That were on Going Live, and Robbie was being obnoxious, and Phil was getting a bit irritated.
I did get told off for swearing once because I swore, and I didn't realise you couldn't.
Rock and roll,
good one.
Yeah.
Rock and roll doesn't need formal training, does it?
Exactly.
No, that's what I always said.
That's what I thought. That's what I'm going to say. I'll get a T-shirt done with that as well. Right, so there we go. Andy Bollen and Derek McKee, thanks so much for coming on. Alan, thanks so much for sorting that out for us. Appreciate it.
Me too.
What amazing stories being at the cusp of... The cusp? Being at the... That's the wrong word, isn't it?
Keep going.
Right.
Keep going.
Cusp's all right, isn't it?
Crest. Cusp?
Cusp of what? Finish your thought.
Both those musical... I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Being in the epicenter of those pivotal moments, rock history, let's say.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. In a roundabout way, that's what I said.
Yeah.
If you have enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, or if you haven't, give it a thumbs up anyway. Get involved in the comments and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're listening, please do rate and review, and go and follow us on our socials and share it with your friends. And you can sponsor our podcast, Stupid and Contagious Podcast at gmail.com. If you're a band, or you want a review, want us to review your music, Luke will do you an honest review. Record labels, merch sellers, anything like that. Sponsor the podcast, help us out. Keep it going.
If you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. We're very happy to have you. If you're interested in your Scottish pop, who have we had on? We've had BMX Bandits. We had Douglas from BMX Bandits on, didn't we? We've had Biss, Urusei Yatsura, Mogwai, loads and loads of Scottish bands, haven't we?
Why don't we have Teenage Fan Club?
Try.
Oh man,
if you're listening to Teenage Fan Club, because you might be, because you might have tuned in because your friends are
Norman,
on.
Jerry, hit us up, man. Come on.
You're welcome.
Also, make a Spotify mixtape for every episode, so I'll be putting plenty of. I don't think there's any Captain America on there, but there's some Eugenius tracks on Spotify. I'll be plenty of that. Oasis, Nirvana, and a load of other stuff that we chatted about in the interview today. So have a listen to that.
Right. That's it for this one. Join us next week for episode 128 of the Stupid and Contagious podcast. Dave?
See you in a minute.
Smell you in a minute.